My Immortal, a Harry Potter fanfic. Narrated by Sentry. Chapter 7. Bring Me to Life. Draco and I held our pale white hands with black nail polish as we went upstairs. I was wearing red Satanist sings on my nails and red nail polish. See, does that sound like a Merusu to you? I waved to Vampire. Dark misery was in his depressed eyes. I guess he was jealous of me that I was going out with Draco. Anyway, I went upstairs excitedly with Draco. We went into his room and locked the door. Then... Already? Okay, fine. We started fretching passively and we took off each other's clothes enthusiastically. He felt me up before I took off my top. Then I took off my black leather bra and he took off his pants. We went on the bed and started making out naked. Then he put his boy's thingy in mine, and we had sex! See, is that stupid? Oh, Draco, I screamed while getting an orgasm. When all of a sudden, I saw a tattoo I had never seen before on Draco's arm. It was a black heart with an arrow through it. On it, in bloody gothic writing, were the words, Vampire! You bastard! I shouted angrily, jumping out of the bed. No, but you don't understand, Draco pleaded. But I knew too much. No, you fucking idiot, I shouted. You probably have AIDS anyway! I put on my clothes all huffily and then stomped out. Draco ran out even though he was naked. He had a really big you-know-what, but I was too mad to care. I stomped out and did so until I was in Vampire's classroom, where he was having a lesson with Professor Snape and some other people. Vampire Potter! You motherfucker! I yelled. Chapter 8. Everyone in the class stared at me, and then Draco came into the room, even though he was naked, and started begging me to take him back. Ebony, it's not what you think, Draco screamed sadly. My friend, Bloody Mary Smith, smiled at me understatedly. She flipped her long, waist-length gothic black hair and opened her crimson eyes like blood that she was wearing contact lenses on. Jesus. She had pale white skin and was wearing white makeup on. Hermione... What?
Yes, this character is apparently the author's interpretation of Hermione.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just go with it.
Hermione was kidnapped when she was born. Her real parents are vampires, and one of them was a witch, but Voldemort killed her mother, and her father washed his hands because he was depressed about it. She still has nightmares about it, and she is very haunted and depressed. It also turns out her last name is Smith, and not Granger. Since she has converted to Satanism, she is in Slytherin now, not Gryffindor. What is it that you desire, you ridiculous dimwit? Snape demeaned angrily in his cold voice, but I ignored him. Vampire! I can't believe you cheated on me with Draco! I shouted at him. Everyone gasped. I don't know why Ebony was so mad at me. I had went out with Vampire, I'm bi and so was Ebony, for a while, but then he broke my heart. He dumped me because he liked Brittany, a stupid preppy fucker. We were just good friends now. He had gone through horrible problems, and now he was gothic. Like I would ever hang out with the prep. But I'm not going out with Draco anymore, said Vampire. Yeah, fucking right! Fuck off, you bastard! I screamed. I ran out of the room and into the Forbidden Forest, where I had lost my virility to Draco. And then, I started to bust into tears. Chapter 9. I was so mad and sad. The situation was bad, and I was not at all glad. I couldn't believe Draco for cheating on me. I began to cry against the tree where I did it with Draco. Then all of a suddenly, an horrible man with red eyes and no nose and everything started flying towards me on a broomstick. He didn't have a nose, basically like Voldemort in the movie. Spoilers. And he was wearing all black, but it was obvious he wasn't gothic. It was... Voldemort! No! I shouted in a scared voice. But then Voldemort shouted, and I couldn't run away. Crookshanks! I shouted at him. Voldemort fell off his broom and started to scream. I felt bad for him, even though I'm a sadist, so I stopped. He yelled. I thought about Vampire and his sexa eyes and his gothic black hair, and how his face looks just like Joel Madden. I remembered that Draco had said I didn't understand, so I thought, what if Draco went out with Vampire before I went out with him, and they broke up? No, Voldemort! I shouted back. Voldemort gave me a gun. No, please! I begged.
Thou must,
he yelled.
it says his name. Did I secretly believe in Draco?
How did you know? I asked in a surprised way. Voldemort got a "dude, you're so stupid" look on his face.
I like that look in his face,
he answered cruelly.
and if you didn't like
he shouted. Then he flew away angrily in his broomstick. I was so scared and mad. I didn't know what to do. Suddenly, Draco came into the woods. Draco, I said. Hi. Hi, he said back, but his face was all sad. He was wearing white foundation and messy eyeliner, kind of like a pentagram, get it, between Joel Madden and Gerard Way. Are you okay? I asked. No, he answered. I'm sorry I got all mad at you, but I thought you cheated on me, I expelled. That's okay, he said all depressed, and we went back into Hogwarts together, making out. Chapter 10. I was really scared about Voldemort all day. I was even upset, went to rehearsals with my gothic metal band Bloody Rose 666. I'm the lead singer of it, and I play guitar. People say that we sound like a cross between Good Charlotte, Slipknot, and My Chemical Romance. Okay, if I can break character for a minute here, I would just like to say a couple things. You see, I myself am a huge fan of gothic metal, so I feel like I'm qualified to say this. Good Charlotte, My Chemical Romance, Slipknot, all great bands, but they are most certainly not gothic metal. Now, the gothic metal label itself is a very vague one, and there has been many a debate on which bands are and are not considered gothic metal. Though most people seem to agree that bands such as Nightwish, Typo Negative, Him, The 69 Eyes, and Motionless in White all seem to fit the gothic metal label. So, if you want actual gothic metal, look at those guys, not these guys. Now back to the show. The other people in the band are Bloody Mary, Vampire, Draco, Ron, although we call him Diablo now. He has black hair with blue streaks in it, and Hagrid. Only today, Draco and Vampire were depressed, so they weren't coming, and we wrote songs instead. I knew Draco was probably washing his hands. He wouldn't die because he was a vampire too, and the only way you can kill a vampire is with a C-R-O-S-S. There's no way I'm writing that. Or a steak. And Vampire was probably watching a depressing movie like The Corpse Bride. I put on a black leather shirt that showed off my boobs, and a tiny matching miniskirt that said Simple Plan on the butt. You might think I'm a slut, but I'm really not. Yeah, you fucking are. We were singing a cover of Helena, and at the end of the song, I suddenly bust into tears.
Ebony, are you okay?
Bloody Mary asked in a concerted voice. What the fuck do you think? I asked angrily. And then I said, well, Voldemort came, and the fucking bastard told me to fucking kill Harry. But I don't want to kill him because he's really nice, even though he did go out with Draco. But if I don't kill him, then Voldemort will fucking kill Draco! I burst into tears, while already bursting into tears. Suddenly, Draco jumped out from behind a wall. Why didn't you fucking tell me? He shouted. How could you? You fucking poser, muggle, bitch. See? Is that out of character? I started to cry and cry. Draco started to cry too, all sensitive. Then he ran out crying. We practiced for 1 more hour. Then suddenly, Dumbledore walked in angrily. His eyes were all fiery, and I knew this time it wasn't because he had a headache. What have you done? He started to cry wisely. See, that's basically not swearing, and this time he was really upset, and you will see why. Ebony Draco has been found in his room.
He cleaned himself by washing his hands.
Chapter 11. No! I screamed. I was horrified. Bloody Mary tried to comfort me, but I told her fuck off and ran to my room crying myself. Dumbledore chased after me shouting, but he had to stop when I went into my room because he would look like a perv that way. Anyway, I started crying tears of blood, and then I washed both of my hands. They got all over my clothes, so I took them off and jumped into the bath angrily, while I put on a Linkin Park song at full volume. I tried so hard to wash my hands, but in the end, they still smell like shit. I grabbed a steak and almost stuck it in my heart to wash my hands. I was so fucking depressed. I got out of the bathtub and put on a black low-cut dress with lace all around it sandly. I put on black high heels with pink metal stuff on the ends and 6 pairs of skull earrings. I couldn't fucking believe it. Then I looked out the window and screamed. Snap was spying on me, and he was taking a videotape of me, and Lupin was masticating to it. Nom nom nom, I'm Lupin, nom nom nom. They were sitting on their broomsticks. Ew, you fucking pervs, stop looking at me naked! Are you pedos or what? I screamed, putting on a black towel with a picture of Marilyn Mason on it. Suddenly, Vampire ran in. Abracadabra! He yelled at Snape and Lupin, pointing his womb. I took my gun and shot Snape and Lupin a gazillion times, and they both started screaming, and the camera broke. Suddenly, Dumbledore ran in. Ebony! It has been revealed that someone has... He shouted, looking at Snape and Lupin, and then waved his wand, and suddenly, Hagrid ran outside on his broom and said,
Everyone, we need to talk.
What do you know, Hagrid? You're just a little Hogwarts student.
I may be a Hogwarts student,
Hagrid paused angrily,
but I am also a Satanist.
Snape said in a crisp voice as blood dripped from his hand where Dumbledore's wand had shot him. You don't have any! I yelled in madly. Lupin held up the camera triumphantly. The lens may be ruined, but the tape is still there. I felt faint. More than I normally do, like how it feels when you don't drink enough blood. Why are you doing this? Lupin said angrily while rubbing his dirty hands on his cloak. And then, I heard the words that I had heard before, but not from him. I didn't know whether to feel shocked and happy, or to bite him and drink his blood because I felt faint.
Because,
Hagrid said, and he paused in the air dramatically, waving his wand in the air. Then swooped he in, singing to the tune of a gothic version of a song by 50 Cent. What would that even sound like? Anyway.
Because you're... Gopher?
Snap asked in a little afraid voice. 'Cause he was afraid, it meant he was connected with Satan.
Because I love her!
Chapter 12. I was about to wash my hands again with the silver knife that Draco given me in case anything happened to him. He told me to use it valiantly against an enemy, but I knew that we must both go together. No! I thought it was Hagrid, but it was Vampire. He started to scream, "Oh my fucking god, no! My scar hurts." And then, his eyes rolled up. You can only see his red whites. I stopped. How did you know? I saw it, and the star turned back into the lightning bolt. No! I ran up closer. I thought you didn't have a scar anymore, I shouted. I do, but Diablo changed it into a pentagram for me, and I always cover it up with foundation, he said back. Anyway, my scar hurt and it turned back into the lightning bolt. Save me! Then I had a vision of what was happening to Draco. Voldemort has him bondage! Anyway, I was in the school nurse's office, now recovering from my washed hands. Snap and Lupin and Rid were there too. They were going to St. Mango's after they recovered because they were pedophiles, and you can't have those fucking pervs teaching in a school with lots of hot girls. Dumbledore had constipated the Kiddio camera they took of me naked. I put up my middle finger at them. Anyway, Hagrid came into my hospital bed holding a bouquet of pink roses.
Enderby, I need to tell you something,
he said in a V-serious voice, giving me the roses. Fuck off, I told him. You know I fucking hate the color pink anyway, and I don't like fucked up preps like you, I snapped. Hagrid had been mean to me before for being gothic.
No, Enderby,
Hagrid says.
These are not roses.
What, are they goths too, you poser prep? I asked because I was angry that he brought me pink roses.
I saved your life,
he yelled angrily. No you didn't, I replied. You saved me from getting a Paris-Hilton pee video made from your shower scene and being viewed by Snap and Lupin.
Who masturbated?
See, is that spelled wrong?
To it,
he added silently. Whatever, I yelled angrily. He pointed his wand at the pink roses.
These aren't roses.
He suddenly looked at them with an evil look in his eye and muttered,
Well, if you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say.
That's not a spell, that's an MCR song, I corrected him wisely.
I know. I was just warming up my vocal cords.
Then he screamed,
Petulus Marengo mi cremically Romasio.
For all you cool gothic MCR fans out there, that is a tribute. Especially for Raven, I love you, girl.
I'm Nato Okeo.
And then, the roses turned into a huge black flame floating in the middle of the air. And it was black. Now I knew he wasn't a prep. Okay, I believe you now. Where the fuck is Draco? Hagrid rolled his eyes. I looked into the balls of flame, but I could see nothing. You see, Enobi, Dumbledore said, watching the two of us watching the flame. To see what is an deflumes. You reviewers flames get it. You must first find yourself, okay?
I have found myself, okay, you mean old man?
Hagrid yelled. Dumbledore looked shocked. I guess he didn't have a headache or else he would have set something back. Hagrid stomped off back into his bed.
You are a liar, Prof. Dumbledore.
Anyway, when I got better, I went upstairs and put on a black leather mini dress that was all ripped around the ends with lace on it. There was some corset stuff on the front. Then I put on black fishnets and black high-heeled boots with pictures of Billy Joe Armstrong on them. I put my hair all around me so I look like Samara from The Ring. If you don't know who she is, you're a prep, so fuck off. And I put on blood red lipstick, black eyeliner, and black lip gloss.
You look kawaii, girl,
Bloody Mary said sadly. Thanks, get it? You do too, I said sadly too. But I was still upset. I washed both of my hands feeling totally depressed and sucked all of the soap. Why do you suck soap? I cried again in my bathroom and put the shades on so Snap and Lupin couldn't spy on me this time. I went to some classes. Vampire was in the Hair of Magical Magic Creatures. The fuck? He looked all depressed because Draco had disappeared and he used to be in love with Draco. He was sucking on some blood from a Hufflepuff. Hi, he said in a depressed way. Hi back, I said in an wickedly sad way. We both looked at each other for some time. Harry had beautiful red gothic eyes so much like Draco's. Then, we jumped on each other and started screwing each other. Stop it now, you horny simpletons! Shouted Professor McGonagall, who was watching us, and so was everyone else. Oh my gosh, she called you simps. Vampire, you fucker! I said, slapping him. Stop trying to screw me! You know I love Draco! I shouted, and then ran away angrily. Just then, he started to scream. Oh my fucking god, no! My skull hurts. And then, his eyes rolled up. You could only see his red. Wait a minute. Okay, I guess I'll just copy and paste this part from before. Yeah, 1 second. No! I ran up closer. I thought you didn't have a scar anymore, I shouted. I do, but Diablo changed it into a pentagram for me, and I always cover it up with foundation, he said back. Anyway, my scar hurt, then I had a vision of what was happening to Draco. Voldemort has him bondage! What will become of Ebony and Vampire? Will they find Draco? Will they get back together happily in the end? Why did the last chapter end the same way it began? All these questions and more next time on Sentry Reads. Goodbye.
Just let me be who I am. It's what you really need to understand. And I hope so hard for the pain to go away. And it's torture in me, but I can't break free.
No, you fucking idiot! I shouted. You probably have AIDS! I'm sorry. You probably have